Hi everybody, it's Lasha from High Voltage, and this is part 2 of tonight's reading. I got distracted and cut off, and I did my nails today, and they're my nails, okay? And yeah, look at that. Okay, so we're still on Carol Bissett, and look, remember the Road Runner and Bugs Bunny when they were tired and they would have to put picks, like toothpicks in their eyes? That's how tired I am. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. I could not settle down. So, part 2, Ask Not, the Kennedys and the women they destroyed. And if you want to see what my introduction is like, you know what? I'll do a remix. I'll do a short to the, you know what? I'll take the intro of the first part of the introduction to the book, and I did it in song with guitar. I thought it was kind of fun. And then I'll put it in a short, and you can watch it, the introduction, if you want to. Okay, so if you have this book, I'm really trying not to interject. Page 12. John, okay, we read this, but it's important that we read it again. John had given Christina valuable information that day. He had a death wish. It was strong in his DNA. She didn't know if he was even aware of it, and she couldn't allow herself to finally admit to herself John could be so tender with her and so sensitive. Yeah, when it suited him. That was the John she could never leave, and so disasters kept coming. So we did read this part, but it's important for me that I know that I've covered everything. Okay, so, and then so we read this in the first part of today's read. That's what I'm trying to say. I need to organize these chapters. But you know what? When you go to the playlist, every video is the latest version. So to start from the beginning, you just go to the bottom of the list and go up on the playlist. Like the playlist is pretty tidy, you know? At any rate, okay, so we talked about Christina and the girlfriend and the waves and the danger, and he didn't bring life preservers or bailers or anything to get water out of the kayak. Christina was fearful for her life. And then we were talking about how he was dating Daryl Hannah, right? Don't, Trevor? No, don't. John had given, no. And so John lifted her up in her brand new, we read that already. He never really broke, okay, so here we go. And so this is the kayak thing. So John lifted her up in her brand new camel coat and put her on the roof of the Jeep and revved the engine, spinning it around faster and faster, Christina laughing and clinging on for dear life. Well, it says she was laughing, so she must have been having fun, or else she was so scared grumpyless that, she, I like that, grumpiness. I had to clean Sophie's, Trevor asked how Sophie's doing. She's doing really well. She's down here with me. I cleaned the whole house today. I'll take you for a little tour of it. Even down here I did. Okay, so let's keep on track. So, okay. So she was laughing. Okay. Then there's a little breakage right here. Take a snapshot. Read along if you want. And so he never really broke up with her. How can you not really break up with somebody? Like, I don't get that. I mean, I've been broken up with lots of times, so I know when a dump is coming. Oh yeah, I can smell it a mile away. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what my husband used to do. Yeah, and then he would say to me, when I would come home, Chris would say, "What mood am I walking into, Lashnesses?" My husband, "What kind of mood am I walking into, Lashnesses?" Yeah. Oh gosh. So how do you really not? He said he never really broke up with her. That doesn't even make congruent sense. One of their last times together on the vineyard, John waxed. What? Wait a minute. I don't know what that means. One of their last times together on the vineyard, John waxed rhapsodic about birds. Hawks mate beyond life, he told her. When the male finds the female, he flies in circles around her until he locks his talon in hers, and they lack in a death spiral, crashing to the ground. Oh, I remember that theory from Hannibal Lecter, the one where Julianne Moore played Clarice Starling. Yeah, that one. So anyways, okay, so I don't even know what that has to do with anything. Christina was sure he had made that up. True or not, it didn't really matter. John was telling her something else. I'm too dangerous for you, for any woman, really. No, that's not what I think he was doing. I think he was just saying, I'm so bored of you, and I need to date another woman. I don't think he was doing this for altruistic reasons. Just my humble opinion. But you know, sometimes Lasha does know best. Lasha knows best. I love that. Lasha knows best. This is the last of the Ukrainian noses. It's the very last of the Ukrainian noses. Yeah, I know. Look at all the scars that I have from this summer on my knees. Isn't that terrible? Like I fell, and they get itchy, eh? When they heal. I should get some of that scar stuff, you know? Anyways, okay, so, okay, so then it goes on to the next part. If you want to take a picture. The line on John was short and spiky. Mama's boy. He did whatever Jackie told him. He gave up the dream he shared with Christina, acting, because his mother was grooming him for politics. Why would Jackie want JFK, her son, to go into politics after what happened to her husband? That statement, without any context, doesn't even make any sense. she was grooming him for politics? Why? I mean, during that era, may I add that during that era of the Kennedys, Malcolm X was I really, really adored Malcolm X. I loved some of his values. I did. I really did. And if anybody has not seen the movie Malcolm X with Denzel Washington, you're missing out. You have to watch that. Okay, at any rate, the line on John was short and spiky. Mama's boy. He did whatever Jackie told him. He gave up the dream he shared with Christina, which was acting, because his mother was grooming him for politics. Then he became a lawyer, but this bored him. Anyway, John, with his ADHD and constant need for physical excitement, ADHD and a constant need for physical excitement, okay? He would only marry a woman his mother's approved of. Actresses, for many reasons, did not meet with Jackie's approval. So it's interesting, they don't go into the psychology of the Kennedys, but after each icon, like when we're done with Carolyn Bissett and Jackie O, let's do a live, and then we can discuss what our thoughts were, or if somebody wants to start the conversation in the comments. Wasn't one from when you banged your knee on the, yeah, that was this one. That one. Yeah, I banged my knee on the coffee table. Yeah. How do you remember all this stuff? Anyhow, stop distracting me. It's ADHD. You have it, I have it, JFK has it. We get so spun around, baby, so spun. Anyway, the line on John was short and spiky. Mama's boy, blah, 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 blah. Daryl Hannah, whom John was seeing while still with Christina. Oh, that was so nice of him. Oh, what a great guy. Wow. What a great guy. Yeah, that's the kind of guy I want in my life, you know. Yeah, let's have a little triage and like hurt each other. Sounds like fun. Yeah, okay. Daryl Hannah was a beautiful woman. Did you see her in Wall Street? Did anybody? Did you? I was at Tim Hortons today, and people in their 50s didn't know who All in the Family was. They don't know Meathead. Oh my gosh, and Archie and Edith. Archie! Uh-oh. Archie! All right. And so John, okay, we read this. Okay, so Daryl Hannah, whom John was seeing while still with Christina, was a movie star, and she was really big back then. Nothing softened Jackie's stance. It didn't matter that Daryl came from real money. Wait a minute. What are other people using imaginary money? I know what it's saying, but seriously, when you think about it, what does that even mean? That's so snobby. I honestly, 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 honestly. Okay, so nothing softened Jackie's stance. It didn't matter that Daryl came from real money or that the director of her latest blockbuster was married to Jackie's sister Lee, or that her family had deep connections to the Democratic Party. Daryl was flashy and bedraggled and in the news for all the wrong reasons. Her relationship with singer Jackson Browne among them? I don't remember that. John thought about I remember this. John thought, yeah. John thought about marrying Daryl when years later, wait, I need my glasses. This is a good book. It really is a honest to goodness really good book. John thought about marrying Daryl when years later they finally broke up. Everyone assumed it had to do with Jackie. Jackie was suddenly battling a very aggressive cancer. John had an even tougher time focusing now. John had a tougher time focusing presently when his mother was ill with cancer, which would obviously distract anybody. And so one day, John took Daryl's dog for a walk. And when John wasn't looking, the dog wandered into traffic and got hit by a car and was okay, I've had enough of that tonight. I can't. There were quite a few interruptions in this video, and there. You know what? There's a lot. We're almost done. You know what? Let's just finish Carolyn Bissett today, right now. Okay. When John wasn't looking, the dog wandered into traffic, got hit by a car, and was killed. Other people's things, other people's pets, even once his own. John had a German Shepherd, Sam, and he refused to train. Sam had a habit of biting people, including one of John's young female assistants who got into the face. John put Sam down and got another dog. John put Sam down and got another dog. In the sum and substance, the message was he was JFK Junior and everyone else, well, frankly, everyone else was not. He was JFK Junior and everyone else, he could board any domestic flight he wanted without showing his ID. He was often without his wallet anyway, or whatever ticket he needed for whatever gala. He was always an editor-in-chief. Yeah, of course he was the editor-in-chief who had trouble with spelling and grammar, who had never managed employees or run a company. When George, the magazine, was at its most vulnerable, hemorrhaging ads and money and cultural capital, the publisher getting ready to pull the plug, John took off for 3 weeks. He left his neighbor, number 2, a magazine veteran named Biz Mitchell, so handle it. She had no idea what to do. Why would she? Salvaging a struggle magazine wasn't her purview. She tried calling John, but he never answered. And when he came back, he threw a fit that Biz, in way over her head, hadn't fixed everything. He said it was best if she left Biz was dealing with a boyfriend who was fighting leukemia, and she never once used that as an excuse, never asked for special treatment, was nothing but a top-tier professional who had worked her heart out for John, but she agreed to go with 6 months' pay and a non-complete clause. This was the John the public never saw. Even when they were dating, Carolyn saw the warning signs. John was, well, loved by his friends and had great qualities. He could be generous to a fault, loaning money or offering access to the best doctors or lending his name for a cause. This John allowed Carolyn to excuse what could be his arrogance, his thoughtlessness. When they first started dating seriously, his shower was so filthy that Carolyn had to put a face towel under her feet. When they moved in together there, and the nights he insisted she make dinner only for him to come home at midnight, never calling to say he was working late, if that's what he was really doing, or going out for drinks with colleagues. Soon Carolyn was constantly... Now, may I just say something about this part, that he was such a slob that... What did he have to do? Something about his feet. It was something to do with his feet. Arrogance, thoughtlessness. Where was the part about the feet? I'll when I listen to it at night, I'll find it. Anyways, okay. So if that's what he was really doing, or going out for drinks with a colleague. Soon, Carolyn was constantly picking up after him. John too lazy to hang his wet towels. Oh my gosh! As dirty laundry in the hamper, he was such a heedless driver, speeding and switching lanes, and when struck in traffic, driving on sidewalks. No wonder his close friends refused to get in the plane he was learning to pilot, assuming rightly that he would fly the way he drove. Well, isn't that an understatement? There was this time, like there was this one time at band camp. No, seriously though. I just looked up at the camera and my mouth was completely dehydrated. Do I look like Mrs. Beadle, the teacher from Little House on the Prairie? What do you think? Okay, so there was this time Carolyn and John got pulled over. Oh, I'm not going to pronounce Massachusetts. I can't pronounce it. Massive two. It rhymes with whips. Massive two whips. I can never pronounce it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So when John was, wait. Okay. So soon Carolyn, okay, so she was picking up for him and doing all of this stuff, and there's an unwritten rule in Massachusetts, okay, in Massachusetts. John told her, whereby members of my family can commit murder, can commit the M word and mayhem. That's a quote. That's a quote from a book. From here. I didn't make that up. Carolyn knew, wait, I missed something. Okay, that's right. So he got away with everything. Okay, so say he was working late. If that's what he was, okay, we read that part. When John was shopping George around town, his name got him meetings with the most powerful people in publishing. Carolyn had experiences in this world with these kinds of people. I wish that she would elaborate what these kinds or these types of people were, as it were. Pardon the pun. So, you know, it's like networking, you know, like what Meghan Markle did at her wedding. You know, it was a networking event, so everybody says. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, to get off track from the Kennedys, but if you look at the dynasty, you know, when Prince Andrew did that horrific interview on the BBC about Virginia Giuffre, you and me have the same, yeah. Yours came a lot faster than mine, though. It really, truly. At any rate, and it doesn't, you know what? I always look at things like, okay, I'll get back to all those other stories after this. Let's just stay on the topic. There was this time Carolyn and John got pulled over by the Massachusetts police, the car reeking with the smell of pot, a starstruck cop letting them go without even a warning. There's an unwritten rule in Massachusetts, John told her, whereby members of my family can commit and mayhem. After all, decades earlier, his Uncle Ted had left a young woman to perish in 3 feet of water, and nobody bats an eye. And that is the truth. Trevor's going to Virginia on Sunday, everybody. And we have to support Trevor when he goes live. I can't wait to hear what you're going to talk about. Okay, so when John was shopping George around town, his name got him meetings with lots of powerful people, yada, 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 yada. I am JFK, so there you go. The publisher recalled he deemed it the worst presentation I had ever seen in my life. Wow. Wow. Okay. Carolyn knew this was John's Achilles heel. I repeat, Carolyn knew this was John's Achilles heel. It was the thing he feared most, that despite the fancy education and the storied lineage, he really, I need new glasses. He really was dumb, entitled, overindulged. Carolyn was smarter than he was. They both knew that. Hipper, too. John was a square. Boy, she sure doesn't hold back on how she feels, eh? Maureen and Megyn Kelly, when they're on that show together, they do not fool around. I hope I turned that mic off, because I sound like a foghorn. Hello, hello? No? Okay, it's off. All right, ready? So Carolyn knew this was it was his Achilles heel. If he was the thing he feared most, that despite the fancy education and the storied lineage, he really was dumb, entitled, overindulgent. Carolyn was smarter than he was. They both knew that. Hipper too. John was a square, once tossed out with legendary Patricia Field, boutique for mocking the kids who worked there as freaks. Those freaks were her people. Carolyn had been a real asset to George in the beginning, bringing her exact eye to covers, models, and layouts. She couriered advertisers with him and was hit with Donatella Versace, Giorgio Armani, the fashion elite. For once, people were paying less attention to John than they did to his wife. The cool and charming Carolyn, the former Calvin Klein muse who knew her stuff. This is the stuff that fears are made of. I love my simple life. Okay, so let's see. All right, I'm going to stop here because there's still quite a big chunk on Carolyn. But are you starting to kind of wake up? One thing I wanted to talk about as I end this live, and thank you for joining me today on High Voltage with this book, Ask Not. And again, thank you to the participant who sent it to me. It means so, like, you have no idea how badly I wanted to read this book. I was so excited, and yeah. So anyways, so that is a wrap. So remember my motto. Don't forget me motto. Don't forget me motto. Welcoming and respecting aspects of all people's societies. And that's why it's high voltage. All right, so have a great day and evening. I'm not going off the live yet, Trev. Have a great evening, and today being Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow for the end of Carolyn Bissett and the beginning of Jackie Bouvier Kennedy Onassis. All right, have a great night. Oh, and you know what? I want to tell all of you, if you like any part of this video, like it and comment. You know why? It helps the algorithm. It really does. I really believe that it does. The views are obviously what counts, but I don't really understand how the algorithm of YouTube works. I really don't. It's almost like sometimes you have to slide in at the right time when there's a hot topic. Like I remember when Spare came out, every single channel had their take on Spare. And I watched. It was funny because people were running around, including myself, looking for the answers through other people about Meghan Markle. And I like Candace Owen because she really, she did an interview with a transgender woman and this director who makes a television show with transgender I can't believe we're even categorizing human beings. It is so bizarre when you think about it. All right, I'm too tired to talk about that, but just think about this. Why else do you think that doctors would allow a conversion operation when they say 1 out of 6? That's a low number. I bet you 50% of those rhinoplasties, and they have disastrous outcomes. It's modern day pinching. okay? And Candace Owens really stands her ground with what she believes in. I don't believe in maybe the God that she worships, her deity, but I have a huge compassion and love for humanity and the environment. So is that different than, I try to practice what I feel, but I don't even think if you're authentically yourself, you shouldn't have to try to be anything, is what I'm trying to say. At any rate, okay, have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you. And don't forget, I will have more Carolyn Bissett from Ask Not. Okay? Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.